Hi garden friends, welcome to the channel. I'm Era and this is Gardening on Purpose. If you're new here, welcome. And if you're a subscriber, welcome back. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch my video. I garden in Georgia, Zone 8A. For today's video, I'll be talking about the dreaded Bradford pear. So when I moved to this yard, I really wasn't paying attention to the trees that were in the back. I didn't know anything about Bradford pear or anything. And I remember I moved in here in the month of November. And, everything had lost its leaves and I was just inside. So when I came out the next spring, I saw this really beautiful tree blooming in the backyard. I was like, oh, wow, that's really nice. But then when I did some reading on it, well, first I actually did a Google Lens search and it said Bradford pear. And I was like, oh, wow, that's really nice. But then I started reading and I'm hearing that or seeing that this tree is an invasive in the area. I see them a lot and they're everywhere. And in my yard alone, guys, there's 11. And this is a pretty old neighborhood. So I'm thinking that back then, whatever this is, like the 70s, 80s, or whenever they planted these, somebody went gung-ho and planted a bunch of Bradford pear. Or I don't know if they only planted 2 and then it turned out to be a bunch of them. But I counted them, guys, 11 of them. And they look nice, but they're invasive. I mean, if I cut all my trees down, I'll have no trees in the yard, in the backyard specifically. The front yard is where I have the oaks, but in the back, somebody planted all these Bradford pears. Now, I know that people say, oh, it smells funny, it smells like this, and I don't smell anything. In the spring, when this is in full bloom right now, here we are in pretty much, the second week in March, and I don't smell anything. It's really nice looking, but I am very aware that the Bradford tree is an invasive. 11 trees in my yard, guys. So here's a close-up of the flowers, and I'm standing right here. I don't smell one thing that people are describing. And I mean, I'm pretty sure it's the Bradford pear because that's what Google Lens says, and Google Lens is usually pretty accurate for me, but let me know if you guys have Bradford pear in your yard and what have you done about it. I know I posted about this years ago and somebody says, cut it down, cut it down. It's 11 of them. I'm not cutting down 11 trees, and that for 2 reasons. One, it's going to be so expensive. Tree companies now are charging you so much money. But I am going to look into, apparently, if you tell because it's so invasive, and if you tell your county, you reach out to your county, I've read something about they might be able to cut them down for you. So I'm going to look into that, but they definitely, in combination with the privet, this backyard here by my ditch, guys, it's straight up. I think the privet is even worse than the actual Bradford pear. I mean, that's privet all around, really, really, really bad. And it's like the more you try to cut them down, is the more they come back because you're not really getting their roots. But let me know if you have the Bradford pear and what do you do about it. Whether or not you smell what people are saying that they smell, or whether or not, you've cut it down as soon as you found out it was. Now, they say that this thing breaks and splits during the storms and the weathers and stuff. I've had really, really bad storms and they have been quite fine. Now, they are nowhere close to my house. They're over 50 feet away from the house, so I'm not worried if they fall, but I've seen them swaying in the wind, but they haven't really cracked. That's what their trunk looks like. Right here. So here's one big trunk here. Here's another big one over there with all that multi-trunk there. And here's another one over there, which is where you can see where my daffodils are. And then you have a bunch of little ones in the ditch itself. Here's another one here. So I can't believe that somebody actually planted all these. These might actually be, most of these might actually be little ones that actually came about from all the invasiveness that was happening. Anyway, let me know what you think, guys. Please share, please like, please subscribe. I will see you on the next one. Bye-bye.